welcome back to the GSTL. Currently, Fnatic is down as they lost Oz, but we are going to take a quick coach interview with Kwani and Coach Choi.
이쯤에서 양팀 감독과 이야기 나눠볼게요. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요. 네, 2주 만에 뵙습니다, 김성환 감독님. 푸나틱 레이드콜 이번 시즌 4번째 경기를 치르고 있는데 그 사이 우승팀 킬러라는 별명이 생겼어요. 오늘 또 역대 우승팀과의 경기.
Alright, let's see what those two have to say about today's game. Kwani first to the left.
GSTL에 있는 모든 팀들이 특히나 또
They got the nickname of Champion Killer because they defeat the Korean teams and they're playing against another champion.
부담된다고 말씀해 주셨는데 최현상 감독님은 어떠신가요?
MVP is Donghaegu, so they're a little bit worried about playing against Donghaegu today. I already mentioned how earlier
레이드콜하고 만나게 돼서
he thinks that Donghaegu is
정말
going to
부담도
be the
되지만
biggest problem today.
약간 기대되는 한 판인 것 같습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 김성환 감독님.
네.
저번에
He is very nervous
인터뷰에서
playing against the
말씀하시길
champion killer team, of
MVP보다는
course.
슬레이어스 이즈를
But he
승산에서
wants to be
만나고
the first team
싶다라고 하셨어요.
Fnatic.
하지만 오늘 감독님의 바람대로 되진 않았는데 어떠신가요?
뭐 아쉽지만은 그래도 무서운 팀이랑 만나가지고 좀 무섭네요. 근데
좀 부담 되시는 것
네,
같은데요.
많이 부담돼요.
네, 그리고 최현상 감독님은 지난주에 또 주장 박수호 선수가 해외 대회 때문에 연습을 많이 못했다고
The Fnatic coach said
말씀하셨어요.
that
일주일 사이에 연습을 많이 했나요?
Yeah, he's a little bit scared of the MVP
선수가
team because
연습량보다
MVP is such a
이미지 트레이닝이라든지
What else?
그 실전에 워낙 강한 타입이라 별로 걱정은 하지 않고요. 다만
Donghaegu, man. We just watched you
푸나틱
scratch your
레이드콜의
nose.
김지현 선수와 장재호 선수가 너무 잘해줘서 그 부분이 좀 걱정이 돼서 그 부분만 좀 준비했습니다.
네,
Yoon and Byeol are
알겠습니다.
playing
자,
so well
상대
recently
팀에서
that
가장 위협적인
the
선수를
MVP
한명
coach is a little
꼽으라면
bit
어떤
concerned about
선수를
them.
꼽으시겠어요?
And Donghaegu practiced a
박수호
ton
선수. 어떤
for this
점에서?
match, so he is really well prepared.
게임 너무 잘하고요.
네.
마인드도 좋고 행복하고 해맑고 잘생겼고 다 잘하는 것 같아요. 수복수 선수는. 네.
네, 알겠습니다. 상대팀에서 가장 위협적인 선수는요?
뭐니 해도 장재호
장재호
선수죠.
선수, 네.
예, 한번 나왔다면은 3킬은 기본인
그죠,
선수가
멀티킬을.
예, 오늘
Oh, okay, so they're picking each
네,
other's
이 두
team
선수의
aces
대결이
and
이루어질까요?
Fnatic
개인적으로
player obviously
궁금해지는데요.
picked
자, 마지막으로
Donghaegu.
오늘 경기만
And
이기면
the MVP
4강입니다.
coach
오늘
said
각오
that he
한마디
thinks that the
들어볼게요.
ace player of
네,
Fnatic is
강력한
more.
팀인 만큼 저희도 열심히 노력해서 물론 한 경기 뒤지고 있지만은 꼭 잘해서 4강 갈 수 있도록 최대한 노력을 하겠습니다.
네, 최현상 감독님.
예, 여러분도 아시다시피 저희 팀은 항상 마지막
We're
세트까지
down
가거든요.
1-0.
네, 맞아요.
Trying the best to
저도
go to the
마지막 세트
semifinals.
가길 바라진 않지만
네.
예, 느낌상 또 오늘도 왠지 마지막
Even
세트 갈 것
though
같은
we're up
그런 느낌이
1-0,
듭니다.
we
예, 최선을
always get to
다하겠습니다.
the last
알겠습니다.
match, so
멋진 승부
we're still
기대하도록
going to do our best.
하겠습니다.
That's actually a
Basically what
lie.
he's saying is-
MVP를 만나봤고요.
Basically what he's saying is like, all right, well, no matter what, we have to use Donghaegu, but we have him, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, but that's a lie. I talked to Coach Choi quite a lot because sometimes we really wanted to cast these team battles, and I'm telling him up front, okay, I want to have at least like a 5-3 or whatever, so a lot of games to cast, and they win like 5-0, 5-1, and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, too easy. So that is actually a lie. They don't always go to the
No,
last
they
match.
don't.
I would love them to see having going all the distance today against Fnatic. That would be actually really cool.
Yeah, I think we may see that, in fact. I mean, Fnatic they just got that nickname Champion Killer because they took out 2 champions already. They may do it again. I mean, their match against IM was incredible. The story there was almost an incredible miracle, but the problem was it was on the other team.
The big problem is, though, they are already down 1 game and they lost Oz, so that's one of the really strong players that they have in their lineup. Another one, obviously, is Alive, and Alive is our second player. He will face Finale on Cloud Kingdom, so this is going to be very, very important because Alive kind of has to win here. If Finale is able to defeat him as well, then they are only... Well, of course, you have Rain, you have a couple of really good players on the bench, but most of them are Zerg.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Fnatic's plan for the end is. Like, they already pulled basically 2 star players out in Oz and Alive. And that may mean they want to close with Moon, which is something they haven't done yet. They like to pull him out second. He has not come out late yet, but that could be something they have planned here.
I'm a little bit weirded out about this as well, because as I just said, it's just you just mentioned that they pulled out 2 of their star players, but it's also the race distribution. I would have rather expected a Zerg player to be second just because they have more Zergs, more really good Zergs in the lineup than other players. They have another good Terran with Rain, but still Alive kinda has to make this work.
Yeah, he certainly does. If he loses against Fnatic takes a huge deficit. Yeah, only 2 games down, but losing 2 of their best players right away is something they won't be able to live with.
By the way, guys, what I really missed, and I know it's stupid, we talked about it during the break, that Call Me Maybe song, that is the break song of the GSTL. I kind of never listened to it privately, but how I missed it when I was watching Code A or Code
Yes,
S.
you listen to it privately.
It is unbelievable. Every single every single time there's a break, and I'm like, hey, I just met you. And I'm like, oh my god, I love this. It always makes me like a little bit cheery. Do you like that song? Do you hate it?
Tweet at us.
Yeah, tweet at us at Calvin at ProxyWolf. I have to say, I want them to make it a thing for the next few seasons. It's just funny.
It is. It's good.
Ready to start and ready to roll. The bottom left of the map, we have our turn player. He's starting in the red. Starting for Fnatic. This is
Fnatic Radical Alive!
Very even win rate on this map between the races, so I'd add that. 1 game difference, like 49.87% in favor of Protoss.
I haven't seen a live play in a few weeks now. He's up against a Protoss player starting to the top right. We just saw him against Oz in the PvP. Now we have him against Terran.
MVP Finale!
MVP finale. And with Oz, what we've seen so often is Oz starting off with double barracks. The second, not an 11-11 or anything like it, or proxy barracks, but the second barracks is usually built on the low ground, just trying to make at least the opportunity of attacking a little bit earlier.
Got some Finnish fans here, by the way. That's pretty cool. I hope to someday soon travel to Finland. It's a place I have not yet been. This position for Fnatic is, we've said it several times, but I want to continue to stress it. It's very, very important that they win this game on their map choice, bringing out this player. They lose him here. And yeah, they still have Rain, they still have Moon, and Bio, for example, those 3 stars, but you want to have more depth. You want to force your opponent to be the one making those tough player choices. You don't want to be the one doing it, especially this early. You lose 2 players right off the bat, and it hurts your team mentally, and it limits your options. We're going to see a 1-Rax expand versus likely a 1-Gate expand.
He's not playing this build where he used the second barracks in order to have the opportunity or the possibility of doing a bit of pressure in the early stage of the game. But I love this early pressure against Protoss. This is something that Keen likes to do. Fnatic did it for a while as well. And it's just trying to be a nuisance, trying to get your opponent off guard, getting into the mineral line. Especially how Keen executes. This is something that I really admire and that I really love to see. But now Fnatic Alive is only going for the 1-Rex into expand. Just a very, very standard and safe build that he's executing here.
Indeed. You can see some Protoss versus Terran win rates there. Finale actually not cutting any corners with a Nexus first, which we have seen a lot on this map. And not even going to skip any units, not pulling probes out of gas, just doing a very textbook 1-Gateway expand. No second gas taken at all. He's chrono boosting his Stalker out. Will likely make a second one. And, yeah, I just would say he's going to just check. Oh, look at this. eBay block. He wants to save the SVD. I feel this is a mistake because he actually...
Oh, actually he's able to save it. I did not expect this. I thought the Stalker would chase it down and get the last shot to take it down, but nope.
But the Engineering Bay built so fast that if you kept it there, you would have actually taken probably 6 more Stalker shots to kill it, potentially.
The thing is that right now, as a Protoss player, it is just so annoying to you if your base delayed, and at this point I feel that that Finale was actually a little bit lucky that he caught this really early on, because if this Robo is finished like halfway through when you spot it and when you try to put your expansion down, then you're really in a lot of trouble. It takes ages to take it down with only 1 Stalker.
If you have the Zealot out, it's okay. The Zealot does so much damage, but the Stalker fires so slowly, and you only have the 1 Stalker with no Zealot helping you, a Stalker and a Probe taken out. We saw it barely even started, but I mean, it took so long to kill it. It delays it so much. I think it's much more effective to eBay block against Protoss than it is against Zerg, for example.
Yeah, I completely agree with this.
I mean, you know, with Zerg, they have several Zerglings out early to scout, and they can just do so much damage so quickly. But with Protoss, this type of expand, you're just banking on the one Stalker. You see Stim coming out here quickly for Alive, who is sending a second SCV scout around the side.
We right now have the standard build for Finale, obviously, and right now we're just waiting a little bit of what exactly they're going to execute in the mid-game. Fnatic has added additional barracks, is currently going for the first few Marauders. The add-ons are already on their way as well for all the barracks. We have tech labs, reactors. So focusing on this Bioforce, and Fnatic Alive is one of these players that is actually really, really strong with this Bio army, always gets the perfect engagements, really good at positioning his units, and we're going to find out what Finale has up his sleeve not to counter this. He obviously does not decide to be overly aggressive in the early stages of the game, but can he really win against Alive in the longer macro and macro game against a player who's really strong against Protoss?
Maybe, but I mean, you're right. I mean, that's a very valid point. So combat shield's now being started very quickly, so he's got the double tech labs going here. He's going to kill his neutral depot. He's going to hit that timing very likely with +1 and the medevacs. He does not actually have an eBay though. He's not getting +1. This may lend itself to be just a faster third command center and less aggression. And with this, he's getting faster combat shields rather than the +1. That's kind of what the trade-off is. But even so, with that, it's gonna hurt his attack just a little bit.
The starport is now building, and as soon as we have those double medivacs, he will be able to start his drop play and will be able to just put the pressure on his opponent. Right now we have Finale though with a nice well, he never cuts down his pro production, and it may sound like a stupid thing, but a lot of Protoss players are actually like really scared against a player like Fnatic that he will be overly aggressive and try to hit them with a Bioforce. So neglect building the harvesters and falling behind a Terran player, which is always really bad if you take the immunes into consideration as well. But right now everything is working just fine for Finale. He already defeated Oz and he's pretty confident, as we can see.
Yeah, he's getting robotic support bay right now. This SCV is completely shut down there. He actually was able to successfully hide his army. Probe gets shut down as well. Now, I mentioned earlier that this push is going to be without +1, but it's much faster with combat shields as a result. He does not have concussive shells, but they are on the way. The medevacs are going to rally across the map with this. This is a very, very fast attack. The Colossus will not be out in time to hold this. He's going to have to use perfect force shields. Cannot afford to lose Zealots like this. Oh, but the rocks will buy him critical time, and if he actually waits until his rocks are dead, the Colossus may actually be out. He's chrono boosting it desperately right now.
Finale should be fine. With the timing that he has and the additional gates that he's adding currently, also another round of warp ins, he is definitely fine with this. As long as he targets well and makes sure that his Immortals are attacking the Marauders instead of the Marines, he will be perfectly fine here.
Yeah, in fact, he's going to move out now himself, killing the rocks even very aggressively. You got to be careful with how he micros because he is pretty Zealot heavy right now, making it some additional Stalkers as a result.
And with this build that Finale is executing, problem for Alive will be that he has to decide whether he is going to build Medivacs or Vikings. And currently, he's only focusing on the Medivac production, but as soon as he spots the robotic space, as soon as he knows, okay, there are going to be a few Colossi, he has to make the choice. He only has one starport and tries to make this drop work, at the same time sneaking up to the third that is non-existent.
Yeah. Very true. He wants to check for it, and if his opponent ever moves out and he sees it with the factory, he can go and backstab.
Especially on this map, you have this style for Terran where you send small forces across the map trying to just snipe Nexi, and it is so annoying. You go in with Stim and you just make a ton of damage. You make just a lot of DPS, and you take down a Nexus and you back off again. And if you execute this well and try to hit multiple targets at a time, you can actually just force the Protoss player to chase down your individual forces, and they do so much damage that it's really hard to recover.
By the way, he's just now seeing with the scan the Colossus tech, and it's been hidden from him this entire time until now.
Immediately the Vikings.
Yeah, immediately the Vikings, but he's still going to face two Colossi with range right away. It looks like he knows, Finale does, that the units are split into two groups, so he has to be very careful against counterattacks, but he's got so many units right now.
Alive was about to move in. He was trying to move in just a little bit, then he makes this scan and he spots what he's up against, and immediately he starts to back off. But Finale is trying to use this timing here. He's up against 4 Vikings Vikings already, and the more this push is going to be slowed down, the more effective Fnatic's Alive's anti-air units will be.
Oh, this is so critical. He sent 2 medevacs to these bioforces at the north, and he's actually going to try to do a drop. But Finale is prepared for drops. However, because he was prepared for the drop, he's not prepared at his natural. Now moving his Colossus and the Marauder's targeting it down. He needs some micro. He's not, though.
Oh, wow. The
That was
Colossus
close.
barely survives, and he's trying to drop it, and he does. The Colossus is already dead, while at the same time, Finale is now attacking Alive's main base. And here they are, the Vikings. They get targeted down by those Stalkers. Alive with a little bit of a misstep. He could have microed those Vikings onto the high ground, but he did not. Now he finally does it, and he's able to throw Finale back.
At least for now, the Immortal doing some sick damage here, and the rest of the Stalkers do warp in. The Colossus remains alive, and Immortals and Stalkers only against Marauders are pretty good. The last 2 Marauders actually do remain alive, however, at the base of Finale, at the natural, and he's actually stimming. He's pulling his SCVs now. The Marauder Force actually may be able to pull him through here, but he's got to be careful. He's losing so many SCVs. Meanwhile, though, probes are going down
There are
at the
no
natural.
Vikings right now, and Finale is doing very well here. Fnatic Alive is in trouble. This Colossus, it just does not die. And even though the Protoss player was struggling a little bit earlier against the Colossi, now finally some really good unit control, and Finale is doing so well here.
Yeah, he is. He takes out the Orbital, the Observer, and the Colossus, giving vision up the high ground.
Wolf
Nice
is pulling
micro
it
there.
off.
I think he is.
He's doing it.
Right now, though, the Marauders are still killing his probes. He's finally pulling them. He's got about 20 worker kills between those 2 Marauders. Needs to do more with them.
The main base is still fine. That's the big
Yeah.
problem. There are way too many probes, and now Alive is back on his last leg. That's the last few remaining forces that he actually has. His harvester count is already down so much. And here comes Finale. And Finale is actually doing this. The Colossus is dead, but it is too late. He has no...
He doesn't have enough money. He's got no medevacs. He's warping in additional sentries now. He can set up a contain, warping units at home to defend against the Marauders, but he's got to be careful. His Nexus is getting very low.
He warps in 1 Zealot. 1 Zealot is not going to achieve a lot, but look at these force fields. He's trapping the entire force. And now, what is Alive actually going to do?
Immortal pops out, by the way, at the natural and will chase the Marauder away. It will survive.
The biggest problem for Alive at this point is he has to decide if he wants to type the GG in caps or not.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I thought you were going to say something else, and I was going to say, like, almost exactly that, but then you said exactly what I was thinking, man, because, I mean, his SCV count is practically 0. He's pulling them away.
We still have 2 bases against 1, and, well, Alive doesn't die right away. He is currently just able to hold his main base, but what is he going to do? He's going to run out of money. He only has 10 harvesters left against 25, and there are only a few mineral patches left in the main base as well. So Finale now can just chrono boost probes again. That's exactly what he does. He has the economy in his main base at the natural.
Yeah.
He's dying a slow and painful death right now.
He certainly is. He lost his Observer, so he can't continue the attack, but he already planned on going home. He sent his forces back. Now he's going to continue the Colossus production. The income right now, 800 per minute to 600 per minute with 10 harvesters left for Alive, but he lost his second orbital. Yeah, he rebuilt one, but it's not done yet. And even though he can make Vikings, he just can't afford to make Vikings and SVs while building his depots and getting the command center up and just doing everything. He won't be able to compete with the economy of his opponent, who's 30 supply up right now, 69 to 39. He's going to try, though.
Yeah, but he will be up against a huge amount, well, not a huge amount, he will be up against Colossi, he will be up against a very, very strong Gateway army. And this is basically Finale's game to lose. If Finale is just sending his units in with a right click and not microing at all, then maybe he will lose this, but it should not happen. Drop play is the one thing that might bring Alive back into this game. I don't really see it happening, but it's the last chance that he has, and he is very, very good at his micro and his drop play. We saw that earlier already and in former games. So if there is one small chance of getting back into the game, it might be this one.
Another thing is that he does have 1-1, whereas his opponent has no upgrades at all, no forges even. So he got those 1-1 upgrades, couldn't afford the armory to start 2-2. And, you know, something else we didn't even talk about, I completely forgot to mention this, is that right before that battle, his 1-1 was not done at the natural. It finished afterwards, so he could have had that. Just a few Stalkers here are not going to be enough, but with the Warpins and the Colossus coming in, he will hold here. And there's no second drop at the natural. It was a little bit too far away, so he's completely shut down. Now he's just going to split his forces back to the natural again. He's considering going for a drop at the natural there, but it's just it's so risky. It's high risk potential reward, but there's no real high reward that he had here. If he loses too many units and drops, then I mean he loses his only advantage. But if he doesn't use the only advantage he has, then what's he going to do? It's a tough game to be in right now.
Finale gets the third base. This drop play by Alive is really nice. I like it, but at the same time, don't be fooled by him closing the gap in supply because Finale is still way ahead thanks to his tech that he started. But he's losing a fair amount of this drop in the main base, so the drop defense against Alive's units here has to be a little bit better. He needs to save this Colossi, actually. Well, he does a fair amount of damage, but the Colossus dies.
Yeah, and now Alive, dare I say it, has taken a supply lead in this game. He's attacking the natural, and if he loses this drop, it'll be huge, but...
Why doesn't he kill the drop? He's in range. He could have taken it down, but he still doesn't.
And this is actually starting to get really stressful for Finale, but he will surround and kill these Marauders. The Immortal targeting some of the Marauders first, but does fall. Zealot charge finishes. He charges through, attacks these Marauders, and will clean them up. But Alive still with the supply lead here. He's got a Marauder on the high ground taking out sentries. What is happening?
Finale is falling apart. He started all this tech. He was ages ahead, miles ahead in this game, and now he has charge.
He's just gonna lose. He's gonna lose, man. He actually will lose this game. The upgrades are too much for him. He lost the critical Colossus while he was teching, and no upgrades whatsoever. And I cannot believe what I am seeing. Alive crushing through the last Archon. The High Templar is just gonna look pretty, but that is it. Another round of Warpins will be taken out as they warp, and that is going to be GG for Finale. What a comeback.
I would have bet all the money that I've got on Finale after this initial attack. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to win this game.
GG.
Finale throws the game away. Let's just be honest about it. He throws it away. He starts 2 additional techs. He gets a 3rd base. He does not defend against those drops. And Alive was down to 10 Harvesters. And it was not like he had the better army supply and could just attack his opponent. This game was over. It was done. And then Finale is not able to stop drops, even though he has twice the army size of his opponent. He starts additional attacks that he could never use. He is way too much at once. Look at Alive. He's so relieved. He knows exactly that this game that he should have lost it.
Yeah, he did too much at once with his tech, as you said, taking the 3rd base as well. His drop defense could have been much better split. He put too many units at the natural, and if you put that many units in natural and your opponent goes to double drop in the main, your Colossus can't be by itself. That can't happen or you'll lose it.
He lost the Colossus to the drop play. He knew there were 2 Medivacs still at the top left somewhere. He left 3 Stalkers. They are not doing anything at all. He had several chances of takedown dropships that he didn't use.
Yeah, he could have killed the one at the natural easily.
Then he even started to get another 3rd. He was at some point, he had like, I think, 3 times the amount of Harvesters against single Mule.
Yeah, it was 30 to 10.
And he even could have just... The one thing that he could have just done is just stay there and make sure the turn doesn't take a second.
Yeah.
There was no way for Alive to take his 2nd base because he didn't have the army to actually contest what Finale had on the field.
You have to be careful against drops with that, but he could have kept a force there. He could have been a little bit more active. He also, could have gotten upgrades. That was one thing. I think part of the story here that we're leaving out is that Medivacs, if left uncontested, are really strong. A Bioforce, doesn't matter how low the hit points are, if it is not killed and it starts to grow. You guys saw wave after wave, and then suddenly Medivacs just make the force so strong. We saw the power of Medivacs really in the end of that game, where it looked like, oh, he's probably going to hold this attack, no problem, and then, no, he won't.
But why add another tech? Why go for the Templars? You can't just go for additional Colossi. You know that your economy is so much better than the economy of your opponent. If you just keep producing new Colossi and you get gateway units, then the game is over. Adding another tech was not necessary. There was never the chance for Alive to get the Bio Army, the expansion up, his Harvester count up again, and the Vikings that he needs to contest the Colossi. So Finale, well, he played well. He played really well, but then at this point he was just getting overexcited. He tried to play it really, really safe, like super safe, but he overcommitted to his tech and to his economy, and then Alive saw a chance and he took it. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Kudos.
Indeed.
Kudos to Alive.
Alive sticking it out to the end, and that's why, sometimes stay in the game, try your best. You can win games.
Yeah.
Alive knew that. The next player for MVP will be Monster, someone we've seen in the Team League a ton. He's actually got an over 1.0 average wins. So, that means he wins over half of the time, and that's pretty impressive. Anyone who's 1.0 and above is a good player to use in the Team League. It means he's got enough experience and he knows what's what. And it's like a batting average, but it's not quite the same. I don't know how to explain it, but you guys watch the Team League. You know what it means when you see that number. The map choice is Daybreak, by the way, which is, statistically speaking, actually a tough map for Zerg versus Protoss, but against Terran, it's pretty balanced. And I think this map is balanced overall. I really enjoy watching games here. Alive does not, I mean, like you said, he looked like a little bit relieved knowing that he won a game he likely should not have. And he's going to sit in that booth now going, all right, well, now I've done what I need to do for my team. I have to get this win, too, to really make my team's pick worth it. But I'm already halfway there.
It's going to be a really interesting game because I want to see how exactly Monster's doing here. He's a great Zerg player, and Alive has a bit of a problem against Zerg. That's the one matchup where he does not really feel confident in at all. So let's see how he's approaching this game. Map is about to start, ladies and gentlemen. This is the GSTL Fnatic against MVP.